cliches turn complex human beings into one-dimensional figures. Welcome to Ms. Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 cliches of LGBTQ+ characters.
And you did not hear Meredith crying for Lexi and Mark moaning in pain or hearing me scream in pain. You weren't there, and you keep acting like you were, but you weren't.
Before we begin, we publish new content every day, so be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. For this list, we're looking at tropes in television, film, and novels that are typically used to characterize members of the LGBTQ+ community. These stereotypes are not found only in fiction, but are very present in real life as well, and can have a very negative impact on those who are on the receiving end of them.
Come on, don't be mean.
I'm not being mean. I'm trying to help the partner out. I'm trying to say I want to get you laid.
Number 10. Gay lesbian characters are often the villains. Though things are improving, there's no denying that the media has relegated LGBTQ+ characters to the dark side, sometimes presenting them as less moral or even morally ambiguous. Case in point, Buffy the Vampire Slayer's Dark Willow.
You're attacking the people who love you now? Only the ones in my way. That's not... You need help. I'm doing fine on my own, thanks.
Though she starts off as good, she later becomes evil while seeking revenge for her girlfriend's death.
Jonathan. Andrew. You boys like magic, don't you? Abracadabra.
Another case in point, Disney villains. Okay, so Disney baddies aren't explicitly sexualized, but it's been argued that they are, instead, queer-coded. Think about it. How many express behavior normally attributed to women and/or that is extremely exaggerated?
Rivals back home. It's not that I'm bitter, but think how they squirm when they see how I glitter.
The linking of such mannerisms with antagonism and villainy, whether implicit or explicit, is obviously damaging and reinforces negative stereotypes about the diversity of human sexuality.
That hairball is my son and your future king.
Oh, I shall practice my curtsy.
Don't turn your back on me, Scar.
Oh, no, Mufasa. Perhaps you shouldn't turn your back on me.
Number 9. Your sexual orientation affects your fidelity. Of course, infidelity is an issue we often see in TV shows and movies, because it makes for a compelling storyline. But we've noticed that LGBTQ+ characters seem to be more highly represented in this trope than they should be.
It was...
Be the man who wakes up next to you.
This cliche focuses on the idea that if a character isn't heterosexual, they must have fidelity issues.
I thought we were past the hard stuff. I thought we were finally good. We were. We are. We're married. I know. God, we have a child. I know. How could you do this?
This trope seems to hit bisexuals particularly hard, since people wrongly assume that just because you can be sexually attracted to more than one gender, then that somehow equates acting on all of those attractions and being unable to control them.
I kept thinking there was a reason. You were so pissed at him. I was right. He played you.
Come on, it's not like we said that we were exclusive.
Number 8. Asexuality doesn't exist. Yeah, asexuality is real and a natural variant of human sexuality for those who weren't aware.
You know that close to 1% of the population identifies as asexual?
You really gotta get you laid. If I have to plow that furrow myself, so be it.
I have a patient who's asexual.
Now, with that being said, how often have you seen asexual characters depicted accurately in film, television, or anywhere else? Most media seem to show every character desiring sex when given the opportunity.
Don't worry, I'm perfectly capable of restraining myself.
So am I.
In the rare instance of a lack of sexual attraction being shown, it's usually a side effect of something, not a sexual orientation.
Dude, are you gay?
No, I'm not gay. I've been with tons of women.
I touched a guy's balls at Hebrew school once.
Dude, it's not a big deal. You like guys. I'm cool. I got friends that guys in jail.
No, I'm not gay. No, I've borked a lot of women in my day.
You borked?
Asexuality is usually seen as a problem, and the plot might even involve fixing that character by getting them to have sex. Pretending that there aren't people who don't desire sexual activity is extremely harmful and can lead to discrimination.
From now on, your dick is my dick. I'm getting you some pussy.
Number 7. all it takes is the right man, woman for them to switch teams. Ah, yes, the homosexuality is just a phase cliche. This very false and harmful trope pushes the idea that if you're homosexual, you just need to find a good partner of the opposite gender to get back to normal.
It's not that simple! I just can't get into a relationship with you without throwing my whole world into upheaval.
Listen, that's every relationship. There's always going to be a period of adjustment.
Period of adjustment?
It's taken even further in the incompatible orientation cliche, in which the characters' sexual orientations don't match, which means they're unable to be together. Both of these tend to focus on lesbians and the idea that they supposedly haven't had good sex with a man yet.
You and I got together, and suddenly I was sated. Can't you take some comfort in that? You turned out to be all I was looking for. That missing piece in the big puzzle.
In reality, they affect all queer characters, so let's set some things straight. First of all, implying that people can simply change their sexual orientation is problematic. And second, heterosexuality isn't the correct orientation. Human sexuality is varied.
You need a woman.
I got one.
Number 6, bisexuals don't exist. Though it's becoming more common to see a wide spectrum of sexual orientations represented in media, there's still a lack of accurate portrayals.
You know, I did the date the bisexual guy thing in college, but in the end, they all ended up with men.
So did the bisexual women.
When a character is shown to be bisexual, for example, they're usually accompanied by a wide range of myths and stereotypes. You know the ones.
I'm not even sure bisexuality exists. I think it's just a layover on the way to Gay Town.
Having lots of promiscuous sex, being just curious, and even being predatory are all behaviors that seem to be synonymous with bisexual characters in TV, film, and so on.
You ever use drugs with Mr. Boz?
Sure.
What kind of drugs?
Cocaine? Have you ever f***ed on cocaine, Nick?
And again, that's presuming that they're even shown at all. Obviously, these cliches can be extremely harmful when people see these tropes as legitimate and presume them to be accurate.
Yeah, there's no such thing as bisexual. That's just something they invented in the 90s to sell hair products. Deal breaker.
Number 5, they have a lot of promiscuous sex. Speaking of promiscuous sex, a lot of media seem to love showing non-heterosexual characters having tons of it.
Hello, I apologize for the state of the room, but can I assure you the toilet is absolutely spotless?
This trope is usually used for homosexual and bisexual characters for different reasons. Since bisexual people are attracted to more than one gender, it's assumed for some reason that this translates to tons of sex.
How long you been here? You like watching, don't you?
She likes me to watch.
Maybe even a threesome or group sex. Homosexual women are stereotypically depicted as very masculine and therefore have and want to have much more sex. This cliche also assumes that since non-heterosexual characters have super high sex drives, they totally hate monogamy.
Hey baby, what's happened?
I'm with someone.
Aren't we all?
Number 4, the gay best friend. A classic.
God, I had no idea you would be so kitten with a whip. Come on, let's touch stomachs.
Oh my lord, you are a complete freak.
We guarantee you've seen the gay best friend trope somewhere. And what kind of gay best friend? Well, a flamboyant gay man, of course.
Stanny, I'm a model.
Excuse me.
I may have a stroke.
Yes, the over-the-top, very offensive depiction of this character is always friends with a heterosexual woman, helping her shop, giving her dating advice, and vetting potential suitors.
Tell him you've loved him for 9 years, but that you're afraid of love. Yeah, tell him you're afraid of love, afraid of needing.
It's not too difficult to see how this trope negatively impacts homosexual people in real life, in particular gay men, who, believe it or not, aren't one-dimensional, vain fashionistas, but actual complex human beings.
I have a question, all right?
What?
The jacket? Is it James Dean or Jason Priestley?
Carpe diem, okay? You looked hot in it.
Number 3, lesbians are butch and gay men are effeminate. When you think of how lesbians and gay men behave, what do you think of?
Oh, my muffins are ready!
You may
night muffins?
Well, it wasn't the Muffin Fairy. Or was it?
If you thought of all lesbians being super masculine and gay men being super feminine, then you hit this horrible trope right on its head.
Can I give you guys a word of advice? Lose the beards, because your King Osama looks like a kind of dirty wizard or a homeless Santa.
The idea that if you like certain things, you must be a homosexual is enforced in this trope as well.
Whenever anything was broken, he would just open it up, tinker with it a little bit, and fix it. His hands were magic. I'll bet your car is 20 years old.
If women enjoy sports, they're masculine and must be lesbians. On the flip side, if men enjoy theater, they must be gay.
Just as well. I think he comes from a dimension that's big on musical theater.
This cliche completely ignores the fact that real human beings enjoy a variety of different hobbies and have many interests, which are dependent on their personal agency and not their sexual orientation. Number 2, characters are reduced to their sexual orientation. This cliche is pretty common in all forms of media that involve any LGBTQ+ characters.
Nah, you trying to get smart with me, huh, Sharon? Yeah, you trying to get smart with me, huh?
Whether the entire plot or just one character's arc, at some point the story will focus on a character's sexual orientation exclusively. This isn't necessarily a bad thing when done correctly. Instead, this trope will portray characters not as fully fledged human beings with problems and pleasures outside their sexual orientation, but as one-dimensional.
You shared your secrets with me. Okay. We made our own little world together, and you didn't say no to anything about me, and you made me fall in love with you.
It will almost solely focus on either their coming out or finding a compatible partner. By reducing characters to their sexual orientation, a number of negative stereotypes can be enforced.
Do I make you nervous, Corky?
No.
Thirsty, maybe.
Curious, maybe.
That's funny. I'm feeling a little bit curious myself.
Number 1, gay characters die. This trope was extremely prominent in older media, but is surprisingly still relevant today.
Your shirt.
Tara? Commonly known as the bury your gays, in this cliche, LGBTQ+ characters cannot have happy endings, which usually results in them being dead by the end of the story. This can happen to one character or multiple, as long as the story ends in tragedy.
Alexa!
It should be noted that the killing off of LGBTQ+ characters isn't off limits. However, it's important to handle those deaths with careful and complex writing. And to remember that LGBTQ+ people not only live happy lives, but also live to tell those stories. Do you agree with our picks? Check out these other great clips from Ms. Mojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.